seen it before. It turns truth into lies. Oh, but I won't back down. I must stay on this road. I gotta know what I'm about. It goes up and turns back down. We're all looking for the moment when we're getting used to not knowing when all the pieces fall in line. Oh, it goes up and turns back down. Keep searching for signs in my dreams back then. I don't know how to stop, 'cause it brings back the feeling that I
So, what are all the different ways you can earn income from your message, from your story, your skills, your passion? What are all the different ways? That's what we're going to talk about in today's show. Welcome to the Market Your Message show. Looks like everything is coming through nice and clear. And let me just tell you a quick behind the scenes, those of you that are here each and every week. We're doing something a little bit different today. You probably can't tell much on your end, but we are actually broadcasting this in several places. So we are using Restream through Ecamm Live. Yes, we're getting really geeky now, but I want to share behind the scenes real quick. And right now, everything's working good, but we are actually on, we're over on Twitter live today for our show, over on Periscope. We are live on the YouTube channel. I see we got people watching there. We are live in 3 different places on Facebook. We're in 2 Facebook pages and one of our Facebook groups. So right now we are live in 5 different places. I'm able to pull in your comments and your questions all in one place. So if you're watching and you're here, welcome. This is the Market Your Message show, where our goal is simple. We want to help you rise above the noise and get paid for what you know. And each week, Wednesdays at 1 o'clock, I come live and teach a new session, a new training for each and every one of you. And I'm excited about today's topic. Today is all about the messenger product map. How could you take one message that you have and create multiple streams of income? That's what we're going to talk about today. So Terry's like, wow, this like Jonathan and 5D. Yeah, that's true. Phil says, yep, that's pretty cool. Yes. I wanted to do this at the very beginning. We're on episode 23 today. I wanted to really test this from the very beginning, but I told myself, add a little bit at a time. Remember, we've talked about this. Don't be a simultaneous entrepreneur, right? We don't need to be simultaneous. Simultaneous means you try to do too much at once. You try to get too many things off the ground at one time. And so that's what you don't want to do, right? It's okay to be a serial entrepreneur, meaning you do one thing, you launch it, you get it up and running, then you move to the next thing. Get that up and running and get launched. But you don't want to do it all at once. So real quick, have you guys heard my new book, Your Message Matters? How to Rise Above the Noise and Get Paid for What You Know is coming out to a bookstore near you next week, October 20th. So right now it's available on Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, Target, even on Target.com. You can go find it. You can go find it in Christian book retailers. It's over on Amazon as well. But I wanted to do something special right now. And we have just put this together, kind of quietly launched it, but not really said much about it. But how would you like to get a free copy of this book, like sent to you? Well, I got good news. I have purchased a set number of copies, sent them to a warehouse, and I want to send you a free copy. All you got to do is actually pay for shipping. Just ask that you pay for shipping. I've already bought the book. And so you can actually go to marketyourmessage.com/free book. So again, it's marketyourmessage.com/free book. Pay for shipping, and I'll send you one of these books, just book that I've got in my hand right here, all 267 pages on how to take your story, your passion, your message, and turn it into a business, whether you want to write, teach, speak, or coach. In fact, what's pretty incredible, if some of you know Michael Hyatt gave us a great endorsement. He said, for aspiring writers, speakers, and coaches, this book is a game changer. And so, anyways, now I will say this. Right now, and I may end up buying more, but I'll just be honest with you. I bought 1,024 copies of this. All right. Now, this is apart from like going and be able to buy it in the bookstore, going and being able to buy it at Barnes and Nobles, Amazon. This is something separate, okay? I bought 1,024. It's like one pallet. I bought a whole pallet of books, shipped it to a warehouse in Arkansas, and they are going to fulfill this order so we can get this book to you. So I've purchased the book. All I'm asking is for you to pay for shipping. So if you want a copy, again, just go to marketyourmessage.com/free book and you can get a copy. Phil says, do you mind if we share it or do you want it for this channel this time? No, Phil, you can share. That's fine. You can share it. Again, there's lots of different ways people can buy the book. You can go to Amazon. But if you go to Amazon, you will pay $17 for the paperback. All right. I'm actually charging $7.95 for shipping. That way it covers our shipping costs wherever it goes. So you will save, $10 buying it that way instead of buying it through Amazon. Or if you go through another retailer, you may have to pay $16.99 plus shipping and handling. So awesome. Deborah Smith is here watching. She is on from Boston over on YouTube. Welcome. Paul says, I want to give them away to my team. Yeah, so Paul, again, as long as we've got quantities, you're welcome to go however you want to purchase it. Awesome. Charity's here, my wife. She is hanging out. She's saying hello. By the way, if any of you are new, if this is your first time catching us live, this is a weekly show we do called Market Your Message. And if this is your first time catching us live, just put the word new in the comments, in the chat, and we can say hello to you. Awesome. Terry says, congrats on the great endorsement from Michael Hyatt. Love it on the cover and inside the book. Thank you. Brianna's here hanging out over on YouTube. She says, hello from Jamaica. Glad that you're here. Paul says, will you autograph them? Well, Paul, problem is they're in Arkansas, so it'd be hard for me to autograph those because I actually had them shipped to a fulfillment company. But, at the live event, I'm going to have a bunch of copies. Next year, we can figure out how to do autograph copies then. If I were shipping them out from my garage, I'd be happy to sign them. But, yeah, I'm a little bit far away from that. All right. See, Fred's joining us. He's here watching from Illinois. Now this is coming from the Facebook group, so I'm sorry I don't see your name coming in. You have to give me permission. But it says, what's up, Jonathan? Do you have any resources showing how you use Ecamm? So let me see here. I was going to see if I could, I don't want to mess things up, but there is a thing I can toggle on my end. Well, maybe this will help. Hopefully this doesn't break the system, but, okay, live demo mode or broadcast your entire screen so that you can show viewers how Ecamm Live works. Do you want to continue? Yes. So what do you think, gang? This is actually what I am looking at. So let me move some of this stuff around. And I've got a lot of questions about this. This is my view, okay? So maybe we'll do a whole show on this in the future, but if you guys think this is pretty cool, let me know. You can see I see all the comments coming in right here. And you got some from Facebook, some from YouTube. I can adjust my camera right here. See, I can move it out, can move it in. I can move it around all right here, which is pretty cool, right? Over here on the left is where I can control the scenes. So if I want to go back to this scene, I just click on it and boom, I'm back over into that scene, right? So I can create my little slides and my show right there. So what do you guys think? Is that pretty cool? Maybe we'll do a show in the future where we'll talk about live streaming, because live streaming is a great way for you to be able to find your audience. So, but I want to turn off live demo mode so that we are back just on the screen. So yeah, a little behind the scenes there. So welcome everybody. Again, if you're new, we're getting ready to do our content portion, which today we're going to be talking about the Messenger product map. something I actually cover in my new book, and I want to talk through this with you guys. But if you're new here, just put the word new, and I would love to say hello to you. Ian's here. He says, I feel like I'm new again. Yeah, you're always new, hanging around. Beauty from Ashes, watching over on YouTube, is new. Welcome, glad that you're here. Danielle says, congrats on the book. Thank you, Danielle, appreciate it. Floyd says, congrats on the book. Thanks, Floyd. Let's see. Do I have my Facebook comments approved for Ecamm? No. So if you're watching in a Facebook group, which, you know, we have this broadcasted in one of our private Facebook groups, there should be a little link that says to give approval for your name to show up. That way I can see your name in my system. Phil says, it's always awesome when you give us a look behind the camera. Yeah. That's what we're here for. I want to teach you how I'm doing the things I'm doing so you can turn around and do them for your audience as well. All right. Fred says, it appears as though you need about 6 monitors, possibly a director and a production assistant. Yeah, it may feel that way, but honestly, if you're on a Mac, Ecamm Live is pretty simple. I just showed you the interface, and that's just running on my MacBook Air. Yes, I do have a second screen today, which I don't show you. I'm not showing you. Where I'm using Restream to make sure that I'm showing up on all the different channels. Because again, we're in 3 different Facebook groups. We're live on Periscope and we're live on YouTube. We have people watching on all those different outlets. And so I just want to make sure I see that on the second screen. But if you just want to go live on Facebook, that's what I did for the first several shows. And you can actually do that just on one screen, just like I showed you a second ago. Rich says, love it. Thanks for showing us how your setup works. You're welcome. Millie's here. Hi again from Millie in Miami. Look forward to it. Awesome. Let's see. Ernie. Oops. Too many things coming in here. Oh, Emmy. Sorry. I thought it was Ernie. My bad. Emmy says, hi there. What's the poster behind you? Yeah, that's our logo. Market your message. See that? My wife actually blew up our logo, Market Your Message, and she also helped do some 80s decorations. If you guys seen this, we are all about the 80s right here. As you can see from Back to the Future, we've got all kinds of 80s stuff in the background. My wife went digging and hunting at the auction, so give her kudos if you guys like to see some of the 80s stuff in the background as well. Jenny, so many options to see you. Yeah, pretty cool. Awesome. All right, guys. So listen, we're going to get into actually what we're going to, the teaching portion. And this teaching portion is going to be pulled out and turned into a podcast episode, a shorter video for YouTube, and also a future blog post as well. But the benefit of being here live is you get to ask questions. So stick around for the after party as well. And I think we are ready to go. So here we go with the show. Have you ever wondered how many different ways can I earn income with my message online? If you've wondered that, today I'm going to share with you 12 different income streams you can create with your story, your passion, or your message. Let's get started. Hey Messenger, welcome to the Market Your Message show. I'm your host, Jonathan Milligan, and author of the brand new book, Your Message Matters. And we're all about helping you learn how to rise above the noise and get paid for what you know. Now in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Messenger Product Map. What is it and why do you need to know about it? And whether you want to write, teach, speak, or coach, you want to podcast, you want to do live streams, you want to be a YouTuber, you want to blog. We have so many things that are accessible today to spread our message and to get it out there. But I also want to talk to you about how to earn income with your message as well. So here's what you're going to discover today. We're going to talk about how to take your message and create over 12 different income streams from your message. why Amazon paid out over $220 million to self-published authors last year alone. What a staggering number. Why Forbes is expecting the e-learning industry to climb to over $325 billion over the next decade. By the way, that's for us online course creators, and much, much more. So before we get into that, you might be wondering, Jonathan, I have been wondering how to get started. I see more and more people blogging, podcasting, creating businesses online. I want to write, I want to teach, I want to speak, I want to coach, but how do I get started? Well, we've put together a simple guide called the Discover Your Message Blueprint. Now, this is a 9-page guide that'll help you understand and actually answer the 3 fundamental questions. What's your purpose? Who are your people? And what's the passion that you want to build a business around, right? And when you understand your purpose, people, and passion, you've put together a powerful message that can make influence, impact, and income in the world. So again, just go to marketyourmessage.com/discover. All right, so what I want to do is I want to kick things off by actually showing you something that I cover in my book. And this is actually in chapter number, what is this? This is chapter 13 in the book, Compile. You can see here, I talk about 12 different income streams that you can create, whether you want to write, teach, speak, or coach. So let me show you those right now. And by the way, there's more beyond this, to be honest with you, but these 12 can be earned across almost any industry, whether you want to write, teach, speak, or coach. And again, we're going to go and divide these up in just a second and kind of walk you through this step by step. But here's the point I want to make. A lot of people are like, I don't know how to make money. How do you make money with a website? How do you make money from something you're passionate about? Here's what I want you to know. There are lots of ways. In fact, when I first started, it was a career coaching blog, and I only knew of like 2 or 3 ways when I first started. I knew that I could put up, a resume service on my blog that let me redo your resume. I knew I could coach people, and I knew I could put AdSense on my site and earn AdSense advertising revenue. That was it. But then as I began to do research, I began to find multiple ways. I created an online course. I found affiliate income opportunities where somebody else had a product or service and they would pay me a commission to share it on my website. Lo and behold, after about 2.5 years, I had implemented 12 income streams into that career coaching blog that allowed me to go full-time into blogging at the time. Since then, I've also started a couple other brands online, and I've taught other people the same system that you're learning about today. So in my book, really on, I believe it's chapter 4, I talk about the messenger product map. And that's what I want to walk through with you real quickly today. So let's take a look at that. And here's how I like to divide up the messenger product map. I like to divide it into what I call the 4 influencer voices: writer, teacher, speaker, and coach. So whether you want to write, whether you want to speak, whether you want to teach, whether you want to coach, here's what I want you to know. There are income streams for you. Now, you might be, and I'll show this again in just a second. So I'm just going to come back here full screen with you. Here's what I want you to know. You don't have to do all of them. You can develop these skills over time, but what I often encourage people to do is actually start with what is your natural influencer voice. Now, we have a quiz, and we will post a link down in the show notes for this free quiz that you can take that will help assess whether your natural influencer voice is more of a writer, a teacher, speaker, or coach. But for now, what I want you to do is just see that there's lots of different possibilities. So let's kind of jump into each of these. Let's start with a writer. So underneath writer, there's a Kindle book, audio book, and physical book. Now, this is important because you can actually write one book but get paid 3 different ways. And you can actually do this by self-publishing. You do not have to go through a traditional publisher to get your message out there. In fact, my very first book back in 2015, that's what I did. I wrote the Kindle book, then I turned it into a physical book, and then I recorded the audiobook. And here's the crazy thing. Still to this day, I get paid in all 3 of those ways every single month from people who purchased one of my books, right? And so actually in the chapter, I talk about this, but here's the crazy thing. Amazon last year paid self-published authors $220 million. That's incredible. So there is a tremendous opportunity for us through writing-based income streams. All right, so that's a writer. Let's take a look and let's go down one to teacher. So if you have a teacher's heart, what income streams are available to you? Well, there's an online course. A membership site is a great outlet for you if you love to teach, because you're always coming up with new topics to talk about, and you're oftentimes teaching people in a live environment. There's also a paid webinar series where you actually have people pay you up front to get access to 3 or 4 live webinar sessions. Well, you'll go in depth and teach from a one-to-many model. So there are teacher income streams. Now, I mentioned this in the book under teacher-based writing income streams, but this is interesting. I did the research, and according to Forbes, the e-learning industry, which encapsulates online courses and membership sites, is expected to climb to over $325 billion over the next decade. What that means is, I believe less and less people are enrolling in online university or going back for some of those degrees. It makes sense in certain professions, but in others, people are actually purchasing courses online to learn the skills, the things that they want to learn. And so that's where you as a teacher can make money. All right, let's jump back in. Let's go to the right side and let's look at speaker. Now, if you have a desire to speak, there are at least 3 different ways you can get paid. You can get paid to speak, like at keynote events. You can get paid to host your own live event, or you can actually do a workshop, which is a smaller event. Now, when I first got started, I started by actually doing my own paid workshop. So this was a higher ticket event, so I charged $5,000. We only had about 10 people. We limited it to 10 people, and we spent 2 days together. That was easy to manage. Then over time, I started doing live events. And the last time we did an actual live event, in-person event, back in 2019, we had 80 people come to our 2-day event. And so you can get paid to speak. Now, obviously, all of us are looking for the Holy Grail, which is we want to go on other people's stages and get paid, and you can. In fact, you might be thinking that might not be possible for you. But when I did the research for the book, Pete Vargas, many of you might know him from Advance Your Reach, he talks about the 9 major sectors today, and here they are: arts and entertainment, business, education, personal finance, wealth, family, government, health and wellness, media, and religion. Those are 9 sectors of people who are paying for people to speak. Now, even right now, while I'm actually doing this video, we're still kind of going through the effects of COVID, but there are people who are getting paid to speak virtually. So whether you get paid in person or you get paid virtually, you can get paid to speak. And then lastly, number 4, bottom right, is coaching. So here's some ways you can get paid to coach. You can get paid to do one-on-one coaching. That's where I started when I first got started with accounting careers coaching. You could do group coaching where you combine a group of people and you coach them together. And you could do a 1-year mastermind where people pay to get coached by you in a long-term setting. Now, here's what's interesting. What are you? Would you consider yourself to be more introverted or more extroverted? I know for me, I'm more introverted. And I'm going to show you kind of what's interesting, an interesting point here in just a second. But I wonder, which one are you? Maybe you say, Jonathan, I'm both. Maybe you say, I'm more extroverted. Well, here's what's interesting. When we look back at this product map, notice the more on the left side you are, the writer and teacher side is more introverted. These are income streams that typically you get paid from one to many. You kind of control it, and most of it's online. Now, notice the right side of this messenger product map, speaker and coaching. This is more you're rubbing shoulders with people one-on-one, whether you're doing a workshop, a live event, speaking at an event, doing coaching. You're rubbing shoulders, you're interacting more, right? And so that doesn't mean that if you're introverted, you can't speak and you can't coach. I have lots of friends who get paid to speak, and I've been kind of surprised how many introverts actually speak for a living. It absolutely is true. But I just find it fascinating that you can start where you're comfortable. I was more comfortable on the left side of that list, writing books and doing online courses and doing a membership site. Then as time grew and as my audience grew, I started doing more of the stuff on the right side, getting out and speaking, hosting my own events, doing more coaching. So I find that fascinating as well. So what do you think? Do you like the messenger product map? Is that something that's a helpful tool for you? Did you get some ideas today? I hope that you did. Well, listen, if you've enjoyed this episode, would you take a moment to hit like, subscribe, or even share or review our show? And also, what episodes would you like for me to cover in the future episodes ahead? What topics would you like for me to cover for you? Let us know. But until then, never forget, your message matters. All right, coming back here with you guys. That was our session today. So what questions do you guys have? I see we got a good group here hanging out with us, whether you're watching over on YouTube, some people hanging out on Twitter through Periscope. We got a good group of you hanging out in one of our 3 broadcast locations and Facebook. Wherever you are, I can see your comments and your questions coming in. So here's what I want you to do. If you got a question for me, just put the capital letter Q and before your question and ask your question. I'm gonna take a quick sip of water here. I'm just gonna hang out here for a few minutes. So what questions do you have? You have questions about, we were talking about live streaming a second ago. You have some more questions about that? Do you have questions about the new book that's coming out? Do you have questions about some of those income streams, writing, speaking, teaching, or coaching? Or you just want to comment, like Brianna said, I'm definitely more on the writer-teacher side. Yeah, I was too when I first got started. And the beautiful thing is that you can start where you're comfortable and where you feel the most motivated, and then develop skills into all 4 areas, right? I didn't start by getting out and speaking. I wanted to be home. That was part of the reason I started a business, because I wanted to be able to be home, be available for my family, to hang out with them. And so I went more of the blogging and writing books and creating online courses, launching a membership site. That was comfortable for me. And it was only until the last couple years that I really got more into the other side of things. Awesome. Deborah, what category is your live stream program? Teacher, speaker? Yeah, so great question, Deborah. So I also teach this. When it comes to creating content, and maybe we'll do a separate episode on this, when it comes to creating free content like I'm doing right now, you should also think about what is your influencer voice strength as well, right? So for example, As a teacher, live streaming is the perfect platform for you. So if you feel comfortable being a teacher, live stream. That's why live streaming is something that I am beginning with. So here's what's happening. These live streams, the middle video is being cut out and becoming a YouTube video, a podcast, and a blog post. But I'm starting with what's my influencer voice strength, which is to be a teacher. I love to teach. And so I love showing up live with all of you each and every week because I love the interaction. I love answering questions. And so if you're a teacher, you should really think about a live stream. If you're a writer, you should think about blogging. That needs to be the creative outlet for you. Now again, these aren't necessarily paid income streams. These are audience attracting, client attracting skills, right? If you're more of the speaker, maybe you should just do YouTube videos. Like a friend of mine, he really struggled with blogging. He had a blog, but he's like, Jonathan, I struggle with blogging. I said, do this. I want you to come up with 12 topics. I want you to be in front of a camera, and I want you to just talk about each topic for about 5 minutes. And he spent a couple hours doing that, spliced those videos up, and those 12 videos became his blog post for the next quarter, the next 90 days, and also posted them on YouTube. So a speaker, recording YouTube videos might be a really, really good route. Live streaming could be a possibility as well. If you are a coach on our list, you should think about maybe an interview style podcast where you bring people on and interview them, right? And so that's what's cool. If you look back at our product map, like we were talking about earlier, these are paid income streams. But when we're talking about free content to attract our audience, writer would be a blogger. Teacher, live streaming. Speaker would be YouTube videos. Coaching would be potentially like a podcast or an interview style podcast. So let me know what you think about that. Do you like that idea? Do you like that thought? I think it's pretty cool. All right. So great question from Deborah. All right. Emmy says, beautiful set. Thank you. Again, Charity, my wife, helped us with this whole set. 80s. We got the lava lamp going on right here. We got the Out of Time from the Back to the Future. Got a little DeLorean there. We've got a Rubik's Cube. We got some old yearbooks. Over here, let's see. It's always the opposite. Old VCR, a rotary phone, a vinyl record, an old camera. Oh, down here, we've got some baseball cards and some figurines. Look at these old cassette tape players right here. It's hard to do this backwards, but yeah. And oh, by the way, if some of you missed the earlier announcement, right now you can, starting as of today, I haven't even announced this to the list yet, directly to our community, but you can actually get my book for free. Just pay for shipping. So it's actually not officially out until October 20th. So, but as the author, I bought a whole pallet of my own books, around 1,024 copies. I paid for it myself. I bought you a copy. All I'm asking for you is to pay for the shipping. So $7.95 is what we've put as the base shipping, no matter where you're located. Right now, just U.S. orders. We're working on getting international orders set up. But for $7.95, you can get a free copy of my book. Just go to marketyourmessage.com/free book. Awesome. All right. Okay. Yeah, so Charity reminded me, you mentioned a link for a quiz. Do you want to share that? Yeah. So I don't have the link. I don't remember what the link is exactly. So I'm going to have to come back and probably post that link. If you're on my email list, I've sent emails yesterday and the day before with links to that quiz that actually help you see if you're an influencer, what influencer voice you are. So you can check that out. Faye says, you're so good on video and I'm continuing trying to get over my video fear. I know I need to practice more. Do you use bullet points to help remember what you want to cover while videoing? Any other tips? Yeah, so today I did not do a teleprompter. It was a busy morning. I actually just did all of that from memory, but I am familiar with this topic because, I wrote the book on it. So I'm familiar with this topic, and I did not. But sometimes what I do is I like to use my iPad, and I use a program on here called Prompt Smart that it's an app you can download that shows me the notes. So I'll show you guys what that looks like since I'm not using it today. You can see. So this is kind of what it looks like, and you click on one of these. And it will show the words backwards because they are being reflected. So it sits in this little tray that you can't see, and it reflects up on a mirror, or actually a glass that's in front of the camera, and allows me to see the words. And sometimes I will do word for word, but not all the time. A lot of times it is just bullet points. So that's certainly, and let me say this, you get comfortable over time. In fact, at my live event in 2019, I played my very first YouTube video for the audience to show them how bad I was on video. I mean, I was terrible. It's kind of creepy, to be honest with you. And it's something that you just get more comfortable the more reps you put in. All right, so I did not at all start by being comfortable in front of a camera at all. And sometimes I'm still not, but you do get used to it over time. All right. Okay. Deborah says, thanks, great feedback and guidance. You're welcome. Paul says, great ideas. Phil says, what would you do without charity? Yes, I don't know what I would do without charity. In fact, pray for me and my son. My wife is headed to the airport in the morning. She's going to go visit my daughter who's away at college for a couple days. And so it's me and my 16-year-old son, Jordan. Some of you guys who came to our last live event, you met Jordan. It's the two of us. So I already told my wife we may hit fast food a little bit too often. And things may not be perfect when you get back, but we're going to figure out how to survive without mom in the house. All right. Phil says, I read, and by the way, Phil, I think you're referring to Phil's in our book launch team. He says, I read about how supportive she was of you, and it touched my heart. Yeah, Phil, that's why the dedication in the book is to her. She 100% deserves it. All right. And oh, here's my son, Jordan. Everybody say hi to Jordan. Jordan, we are live streaming Pizza Planet, by the way.
I heard you talking about me.
So I told them that the two of us are going to survive without mom the next 2 days.
Hopefully.
So what do you want to do the most?
Whatever we usually can't do when she's here, probably.
Well, she's watching live stream, so we can't tell her what that is. So we should bring the whole family on sometime and do like an entire live stream show.
Sing We're a Family.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Play the tunes.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So, hey, listen, those of you that were at the live event and the last in-person one we did, everybody's saying hi, Jordan. And see here, Rich even says right here, Rich was at that live event. He says, Jordan, got any Queen songs on standby?
You know it.
Jordan loves 80s music. So how many 16-year-olds do you know who are just like, that's their jam, like 80s music is the thing? That's him. So Brianna's saying hi, Jim says hi, Phil says hi. So everybody's saying hi.
Nice.
Awesome. See, isn't this fun?
Yeah, this is fun. I can go now if you want.
Yeah, well, you can do whatever you want.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. All right. Beauty from Ashes over on YouTube ask, As a beginner blogger, should you worry about email? If you're saying worry about an email list, yes, you should be paying attention to email. I've got a couple of horror stories about blogging and not having an email list ready. One of them was a blog that I started called Simple Life Habits. Now it's no longer up. Part of it was because I just had too many going. I was being that simultaneous entrepreneur that you don't want to be. And so I let it go. But what was cool back in the day, simplelifehabits.com, I wrote about productivity. Well, here's the thing. I had about 20 blog posts up on the site. And even though it was like less than a year old, somehow some writer from Lifehacker saw one of my blog posts and actually wrote about it. And I remember looking at my Google Analytics and I was bumping along, 20 visitors and boom, it was like 2,000 in one day. And I'm like, something's wrong. This ain't right. Like, why do I have 2,000 people visit my site in a single day? And I looked into my analytics and found that Lifehacker had written an article about me. Well, guess what? I didn't have like an email list set up on my blog. I had no way of like capturing, which is a critical skill, no way of capturing the people who are visiting my site. You see, it's one thing to like have people come read your blog post. It's an entirely different thing to capture them onto an email list where you can build a relationship with them. That's ultimately what you want. In fact, I care less and less about how many people are visiting my site. I care more and more about how many people are getting on my email list every day. That's the number. I don't care if my visitor count is staying the same or even going down if my email list per day is growing. Because an email list to me is more important. Great question. All right. Yeah, Jim says marketyourmessage.com/free book. That is the link to get the free book. Once those copies are out, they're out. So if you'd like a copy, go get it. If you want to share it with somebody else, you can do that too. All right. Lots of comments about Charity leaving us, so you guys should really feel sorry for us. Terry says, just be sure to do the dishes before she gets home. I used to travel for work. It was great to come home to a clean kitchen. Yes, Terry, that is one lesson I have learned. Like, if nothing else happens, a clean kitchen sink will win lots of brownie points. I'm with you. Let's see. And sorry, I don't know who this is because Facebook, if you're in the Facebook group and you comment, it won't show me. If you're on a Facebook page, it will, but you have to get permission for me. So stepped away. Is that your son? I'm assuming he is a basketball player. Oh, this is Jackie Bledsoe. Hey, Jackie. Hope you're doing well, friend. It's good to hear from you. Yeah, so that is my son. Yes, he is taller than me. No, he's not playing basketball anymore because he has started, he's homeschooling and he's started getting into video game design. He's got into music theory, designing video games. In fact, right now he is a part of this thing called Game Jam, where he is working with a team of people from around the world. Some are programmers, some have different skill sets. He's actually creating the music for a video game that team is working on together. It's pretty cool. So he's really gotten into like story, the whole telling story scripting, story format, as well as programming for video games and music theory and music. So that's his jam right now, and I love it. Oh, and then my mother is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. That's my mom, Susan Milligan. She says, awesome, Jordan. So, cool. Jim says, on the free book, the submit button does not seem to be working for me. Well, Jim, reach out to Roxanne at marketyourmessage.com. She will help you with that. I'm not sure what might be the problem there. I know it's working because we've got some book orders in already overnight and this morning. So I'm not sure what might be going on there. If anybody else is having that issue, let us know. But Jim, if you would reach out to Roxanne at marketyourmessage.com, that would be awesome. All right. Any other questions? If not, we're going to wrap things up today. Thank you guys for being here, whether you're watching on Periscope, YouTube, or one of the Facebook pages. Thank you for hanging out with us today. So let's do some takeaways. We always end each session with a takeaway. So just put a capital letter T in your comment. And what was your takeaway? What takeaway did you get today? Never leave the site of learning without consolidating it down to a single takeaway. You hear me say that every single week, but I truly believe as a teacher, I don't want you just to come and learn. I want you to say, you know what? This was a takeaway, and I'm going to go maybe take that action today. Maybe it was grabbing a free copy of the book. Maybe it was looking into Ecamm Live if you're a Mac user and you want to do live streaming. Maybe it was one of the income streams we talked about today. Just let me know as well. And Jim says he's going to try in a different browser. Yeah, and Jim, by the way, if you're still here, let us know real quick what browser you use, because I'd be curious to see if we can replicate that issue. Were you on Chrome, Firefox, something else? Let me know. All right, we got some takeaways coming in. Phil says, thank you for another awesome lesson. You are welcome, Phil. Glad that you're here. Terry's takeaway was take many steps in one direction versus multiple directions. Yes, Terry. Yes. It's so hard, though, isn't it? I mean, for many years, it was so hard for me to not want to try to do all at once. I often thought I could do it all at once, right? And then I had to realize you can't have it all at once. All right? But you can do one thing at a time and build up over time. All right. Phil says, I like that you demonstrated serial versus simultaneous. You explaining the new feed was something you wanted to do from day one, but resisting doing too many things at one time. Yeah, exactly. And by the way, as you guys know, we did a good 16 sessions of this live stream show before I ever even decided to take what we were recording and turn them into podcast. And then we got the podcast up and running before we started taking the videos on relaunching the YouTube channel. And still, we have yet to, because I want to make sure that our content machine is working, we have yet to repurpose any of them into blog posts just yet. But that is the next phase that we're working on. Very cool. Deborah's takeaway was how best to direct my message via the appropriate category, whether it's a writer, blogger, teacher, live stream. Awesome. That's a great takeaway. Phase. 5-minute videos, 12 topics, turn them into blog posts, teleprompter app, and your book offer. Thank you. Well, she had lots of takeaways. Brianna's was your videos always remind me that I can get through the project I want to do. Just break them into manageable pieces. Absolutely. Break it down to where it's so easy you can't fail. Jim says Chrome and now Safari must be a problem on my end. Sorry about that, Jim. Again, just reach out to Roxanne at marketyourmessage.com. We'll figure out how to get you into the system to get the free book. All right, gang. Thank you so much. It's if I missed your comment or your questions, sorry about that. We had a lot of them coming in, but thanks for hanging out with us again. And like always, if you were new today, get this on your calendar. Every single week, we're live at 1 o'clock Eastern to do a new show. And you can ask those that have come. Some of you have never missed an episode. How much more smarter are you, knowledgeable are you for just showing up? By showing up, you're getting an education. You are learning things that took me 10 years. I've been doing this actually going on 11 years. I started my blog in 2009. So 11 years of knowledge wrapped up into a book, wrapped up into these sessions each week that you're able to get further faster, quite frankly, by just showing up. Also, if you want to catch our past episodes, you can actually go to marketyourmessage.com/show. marketyourmessage.com/show. I'll display a link here in just a second so you're able to see that, and you can go binge watch all the past episodes. Also, over on our YouTube channel, you can watch the shortened version where it's not the pre-party, not the after-party, just the content. And on the podcast, we've got, every week we're adding new episodes. I think we're up to like 9 or 10 episodes now on the podcast. It's a great way to re-listen as well, so you can build this knowledge into your mind and help remind you of what it is that you're building. All right? So thanks again, everybody, for being here. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. And never forget, your message matters. Bye-bye, everybody.